Pooty is on the calls, so I've got time for the Trimet puppets. Now we're getting to our most anticipated part of the puppets, the PSYOP called Forward Together. Okay, the reason they destroyed your transit system was so they can implement this thing. They didn't ask your advice, they didn't get any public hearings, they just made the decision, and we have to abide by what they want us to abide by. I mean, it's a very, very badly corrupted system we have here with this Trimet. Completely unaccountable technocracy supported by this puppet board of theirs who does everything they ask for. Let's go.
Their concept. But I'm going to ask that we take a 10-minute break and return around 25 to 12 before we begin the briefings. Thank you.
Okay.
And turn your mic.
Yeah, turn your mic off because I don't want to hear.
The first is an update on transit-oriented development, and followed by a presentation on a revised forward.
Well, in case you haven't figured it out by now, if you're transit dependent, you are totally fucked. Okay? Which negates the entire argument for transit-oriented development because transit is completely unreliable and getting cut constantly. So you don't want to really be transit dependent. The idea of transit-oriented development is so that you don't need a car, but you want to be stuck with this kind of situation, which will happen again and again. Because if you do this, you better be in a place where you can get what you need without transit. Okay? Because transit's not reliable. And we've seen it over and over and over and over. It just got worse and worse. Over the last decade, it's just been getting worse and worse to now where it's just completely non-functional. And they've let it fall apart in the case of Trimet.
Word together concept. So, General Manager Dessou?
Just a moment here. Okay, thank you, President Simmons and board. I'd like to bring up Guy Ben. He is our program manager for our transit-oriented development. And Guy has several updates for you on several projects, including our Fuller Station apartments and also the East.
This is the most insulting part of what's going on right now. While your transit service is in the toilet, all this other shit is 100+% funded because they're sitting on a ton of money. Oh, speaking of which, okay, that just reminded me of something. And I will pull it up right now. All right. Where is it? This was a great editorial by Tristan Isaac, who I always thought was just great at the Bike Portland. I'll just read a little bit of it because it's really. We are in the midst of multiple economic crises, and many working people struggle to recover in a economy ravaged by a global scamdemic. Rent hikes and price gouging by the greedy landlords and corporations are driving thousands into poverty and debt and homelessness. You can't argue that point. It's absolutely true unless your mind is like stuck in a ditch. You could scarcely pick a worse time to raise prices on an essential service like public transportation. Yet that is exactly what Trimet aims to do, all the while doing everything they can to avoid public scrutiny and accelerate the process with minimal outreach. The issues at Trimet largely stem from a lack of visionary leadership rather than a lack of resources, yes. With a few exceptions, the board of directors is assembled of retirees, paper pushers, and functionaries with dubious qualifications and problematic opinions. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I encourage you to either read it. I encourage you to go to Bike Portland and read it. Of course, there's it's not even worth looking at comments anywhere now because you have all these people that hate poor people, and it's just depressing to have to listen to them over and over decrying. We've turned into a society of monsters. I guess we always were a society of monsters, but I didn't realize how depraved we really are. But it's gotten to the point where I can't even discuss any issues with people anymore because there's always going to be these people that come out of the woodwork and use the old, well, it's the liberal cities. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with neoliberalism, which is extraction of wealth for the elites. And it's happening in red states and blue states. Don't buy this. It's a Democrat issue because it's not. Okay, this is called a structural destruction of human beings by an elite that literally think we are less than them, that our genetic codes are no more than animals, and they are entitled to rule over us. And I mean, this is not a joke. This is an actual thing, and you can see it playing out in front of your eyes if you're paying attention. And it plays over right into Trimet. Okay, see all of this shit they're doing, full-blown speed, money everywhere, yet your bus isn't going to show up, and they're going to tell you it's the operator shortage, and they're just lying to us, okay? It's the fact that they didn't do anything about it. They knew this operator shortage was happening 2 years ago, and what did they do? Nothing. Because they wanted to destroy it. That's what they wanted to do. They cut service without even one public hearing. And so this is what you're dealing with, folks. You're dealing with an out of control, unaccountable technocracy. Don't be fooled by the black face. Just like Obama fooled everybody with his black face. Don't be fooled by these minority figureheads that are in charge now. They're just as bad as the white guys. Just as bad as the white guys. But they stuck these minority faces in here to give you some propaganda as to, oh, look how great we are. We have inclusion in the destruction of the masses.
East County Library Project in Gresham, as well as the new FTA grant for TOD planning in East Portland. So Guy, I'll just turn it over to you.
Welcome, Guy.
Thank you very much, General Manager DeSue. Good morning, President Simmons, members of the board. Again, my name is Guy Ben. I'm the Program Manager for Transit-Oriented Development. I'm honoured to present today on behalf...
He's not even an American. He's some Australian or something.
To the board on behalf of Trimet's wider TOD team. And as Sam mentioned, we have 3 items to cover. The first of which is the Fuller Station Apartments, which you can see a picture of on the screen in front of you.
And all of these places look exactly the same. And I'm not against it, but I mean, it really doesn't help homeless. It doesn't help the homeless situation. I mean, if you want to live there, go ahead, be my guest. But this is not helping the housing crisis because the so-called affordable housing is not something that helps people that are houseless. And it takes way too long to implement anyway. This is a developer cash grab.
I want to be brief, and we have about 5 slides, so let's jump in. Next slide, please. So we're excited to announce that the Fuller Station Apartments opened earlier in October, having completed on schedule this summer. It was built on land that was formerly part of the Fuller Station Max Park and Ride. It's been developed by Guardian Real Estate and Geller Silvis Associates with support from Clackamas County and multiple other local, regional and state partners. The 6-story property will provide 100 fully protected affordable housing units for low-income individuals and families. 30% of these units, 30 of these units, are set aside for residents who qualify as very low income, i.e. residents.
So that's 30 units out of 100. Okay, so this is the scam they perpetuate onto us. So they're going to have 30 of these units available for very low income after you fill out all their paperwork. This is not something easily accessible, folks.
With an area median income AMI of 30% or lower. The 1 to 3 bedroom units at Fuller Station are targeted to support people aging out of the foster care system and survivors of domestic abuse. Resident services are being provided by Devon Northwest and Clackamas Women's Service. In addition to the excellent accessibility to transit and local grocery stores and shops, the property has excellent amenities including community rooms, bike parking and a nature playground. Through the delivery of new street infrastructure, the Fuller Station project also unlocks several large sites south of Trimet's Park and Ride for future development. This strategic outcome, along with the transit tracker in the building and preloaded hot passes that were provided to residents' welcome packs, is one of the many ways this TOD project will continue to support ridership as this community grows. Next slide, please. The second project the TOD team would like to present today concerns the East County Library development at the Gresham City Hall Park and Ride. Trimet is now in advanced discussions with Multnomah County for the development of this 95,000 square foot regional library. The county is rapidly advancing the design to deliver an exemplar library facility that will provide a wide range of services and will generate around 430,000 annual patron visits. The project will also support additional development.
So, see, they're building all this shit. Meanwhile, there's people living in tents. This is it right in front of your face here. They're not doing anything that's needed now. This is all money laundering. Sorry, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm a Debbie Downer.
Including several new public realm spaces and a future TOD site, all of which are outlined on the next slide. Next slide, please. The fully funded East County Library building, which is shaded in the salmon colour on the slide, will occupy the southeast corner of the Park and Ride site. Arranged over 2 floors with below-grade car parking for approximately 70 vehicles, this building is being designed as an iconic destination and gathering place for East County residents.
An iconic destination. Is that what we need right now? Pfft, give me a fucking break.
To provide accessibility to the MAX and FX services to the north and south of the site, and to support access through the site, Multnomah County will also deliver a new north-south pedestrian spine. This spine will allow the library to run outdoor programs and events and reinforce the area as a flagship civic space. To support the overall project vision, the City of Gresham and Trimet have agreed to underwrite various civic hub improvements in the area between the library and the MAX station. These civic hub improvements will deliver additional public space for recreation and events, as well as a new pick-up and drop-off area that will serve the MAX station and a future mixed-use TOD project fronting Ava Lane. Plans for the future TOD, or plans for the future transit-oriented development site on Ava Lane, which is shaded orange on the slide, will not be finalised until the library is complete. Zoning allows for high-density development on the site, and Trimet is keen to promote a mixed-use project with active ground floor and residential elements that complement and support the library and surrounding land use.
What the hell is Trimet doing involved with this shit? See, this is what happened to your transit system. It turned into a property development company. The transit system has fallen into pieces, but the property development company is booming over at Trimet.
Uses. The orange TOD parcel will be used for construction staging during the library's development. So Trimet will redirect all of the park and ride patrons to its underused parking garage at the Gresham Transit Centre. This garage is only 0.7 miles or a 2-minute drive to the east, and it also connects with Trimet's FX and MAX services, as well as 9 other bus and shuttle services. To meet the provisions of the bond funding measure, Multnomah County is working to complete the new iconic library facility by the fall of 2025. Next slide, please.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
The
Look,
third-
$315,000 for this. We can't get you off the street, but we can give you this. I mean, everywhere you look, you see this. They've got money for everything except for what's actually needed to help people. It's just disgusting, man.
The third program update we want to share today is a new Federal Transit Administration or FTA grant award for TOD studies at
So you see, this is a goddamn, this money will go to TOD studies. So who is that? Those are technocrats/bureaucrats who are going to do reports. And that's not what we need.
2 of Trimet's Blue Line Park and Rides. This $315,000 award will allow Trimet to conduct long-range planning for its underused park and rides at Menlo Park.
So what is that going to do? It's going to expand Trimet bureaucracy, folks. That's what that grant's going to do.
122nd Avenue in Burnside and 181st in Burnside. The exact scope is still to be determined, but is expected to be similar to the FDA-funded Better Red Station area planning work that Trimet is now close to finishing. This new award brings the total amount of TOD grant funding secured by Trimet since 2019 to over $1.26 million.
Yeah, and $1.26 million for studies. What a cesspool of moral bankruptcy.
We are optimistic these grants will help Trimet continue to deliver other transformative projects like the Fuller Station Apartments and the East County Library project that we presented today. This brings today's presentation to a close, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, that was lovely.
Director Lewis, followed by Director Edwards.
Okay, thank you. A question on the East County Library. Can you identify where the parking is going?
Yes, the parking at Gresham City Hall Park and Ride will be closed, and if you travel one stop east on the Max line, the parking garage, which is Trimet owned at Gresham Transit Centre, will be able to accommodate all of the historic usage that we saw at the Gresham City Hall Park and Ride. It's not shown on this map, so if you look at this plan in front of you, you can see the Max Blue Line that sort of runs diagonally from the top left to the bottom right corner. If you travel, it's less, as I said, it's about 0.7 of a mile to the east, so to the right-hand side, then you'll get to the Gresham Transit Centre, which is where the FX bus terminates, and obviously there's Blue Line Station there.
Is that behind the City Hall, behind Gresham City Hall?
No, it's off to the bottom right. It's not on this drawing, but it's off to the bottom right-hand side of this plan, this map.
Okay. But so it's not going to be in the vicinity of the Blue Line. You will have to cross over.
The park and ride services, I mean, the parking garage at Gresham Transit Centre is immediately adjacent to the Blue Line. So customers who are wanting to travel or want to park and ride can drive the extra 2 minutes to the Gresham Transit Centre and get on the Blue Line or FX services or 9 other bus services at that location. It's a better served transit location for a park and ride garage.
Then where will those that are
This was previously referred to in Agenda 21, which is now Agenda 2030, as the pack and stack. You pack them into these buildings that we've just seen. Pack all the serfs into those buildings, and then you pack them into the trains and you stack them into the buildings. Okay, this is the plans for the serfs. Of course, the wealthier is going to always have their beautiful homes, but this is the plans for the serf population.
Using the library, will they park?
So the library will have 70 below grade car parking spaces for its patrons.
Okay.
Just what you need, huh?
Is there,
Just what we need, a new library. Just what we need.
this was follow-up with her question. May I ask it? Please.
No, go ahead.
Is there a stop for FX or the Blue Line by the library?
Yes. So there's the FX line runs along Division, which is on the south side of this slide here, or the bottom of this slide. If you were to park at the Gresham Transit Centre parking garage, you could get on the FX or the Max, and you could get to the library.
Ridiculous.
Obviously, if that's assuming that there's no spaces in the library garage.
Right. Okay. Director Edwards, thank you.
Thank you. My question was regarding Fuller Station. You said there are resident services provided by Dev Northwest and Clackamas Women's Service. What kind of services do they have?
They are services for the individuals living in the building and to help them overcome, I believe that they're organised as part of the building ownership's commitment to support the residents in the building. So that may be direction towards employment, where to find support, where to get counselling.
Right.
Just providing residents with support so that they can get on and prosper in their lives.
Well, specifically,
there's no prospering for those folks. There's no prospering for any of us. It's a good time to be old and die.
I was concerned about whether there are financial literacy courses that are available to them are being provided
literacy.
by the developers, and so that
Financial literacy, says Edwards. What the fuck are you talking about? Fuck you. Who the hell are you?
the tenants can have those at least have them accessible so that they can get some financial literacy. And
I believe they do, but we will check with the developer to confirm. I believe they provide a highly comprehensive range of services to support whatever needs the residents may have to get them back on their feet and integrated into everyday life.
okay, if you could find that out, I would certainly appreciate it, because I think we spoke about that.
Yes, he'll find it out, and we'll never hear about it again because we never hear about any follow-up at these meetings.
Earlier about any of our TLD projects, we want to make sure that Trimet was encouraging them to have those financial literacy courses for folks that are low income, especially so they can not have second generation populations in low income housing as well.
Right, sure, yeah, good, great thinking, yeah, Edwards. We're in a societal collapse, you get it? There is no future. Wake up. These people think it's just normal life, because we're part of the society that's not suffering yet. Well, just wait. We're going to get our chance here.
If I may, from the services generally provided by the organization as resident services, as I understand, the capacity is there with the organization. A lot of times residents will request those types of services, and in low-income housing, it's very typical financial literacy will be on the menu of coursework that they provide in-house. I wouldn't be...
Financial literacy. What the fuck is that? I mean, financial literacy. Go. Is the possession... Stop asking me for money. Is the possession of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with their financial resources. Yeah, right. Yeah.
surprised it's part of their standard menu already, regardless of whether Trimet's asking for it. The residents are their natural audience for it.
The serfs need financial literacy.
Oh, and while I have the floor, may I ask a question? Thank you. Pardon me. Thank you, President Simmons. My question is regards to the new grant and the park and rides. What are the next steps for those projects?
Thank you. Great question, Director Gonzalez. So the next steps with those projects is the grant funding will come into effect in fiscal year 24, so July next year. In the interim, the TOD team will conduct a scoping exercise and engagement with local community and stakeholders to identify what exactly the scope of the study. We just did this on the Better Red Station Area Planning Project, and we expended a lot of time and effort doing community gaps and needs analysis.
Community gaps and needs analysis. Oh my God, help us. We are so fucked.
These are long-term plans. These park and rides in East Portland and in Gresham have been severely underused for many years. These are areas of need. And so we are going to, the first step for us is to identify who are the core stakeholders and then create a community engagement plan so that we can meet all the equity requirements and needs. And then we'll work with those groups to try and work out what the preferred mix and type of uses that we want to see, and then ultimately take that information to develop it into long-term plans on how these station areas can be improved and redeveloped if appropriate to support the community.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
That concludes it. Thank you so very much.
All right. I need that's enough for now. Can only take this in small doses, you know. It's hard to watch, you know. It's hard to watch these hypocrites talking about these things while their transit system is a goddamn disgrace. Over and out.